Feeling overwhelmed. Welcome, everyone. Let me start by asking you a question. Have you ever felt like you're drowning in a sea of tasks, to-do lists, and responsibilities? I'm sure you have. In fact, a recent study found that over 80% of people report feeling overwhelmed at least once a week. So, if you're feeling that way right now, you're not alone. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay stuck in overwhelm forever. Today, I want to share with you some strategies that can help you manage overwhelm and feel more in control of your life. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to cover 3 key points. First, we'll talk about why overwhelm happens and how it affects us. Second, we'll explore some common myths about overwhelm that can actually make things worse. And finally, we'll dive into some practical tips and tools you can use to manage overwhelm and find more balance in your life. So, whether you're feeling overwhelmed right now or you simply want to be prepared for the next time it hits, you're in the right place. Let's get started. To effectively manage overwhelm, we first need to understand what it is and how it affects us. At its core, overwhelm is a feeling of being inundated, overburdened, or stretched too thin. It can manifest in different areas of our lives, such as work, relationships, finances, or health. So, why does overwhelm happen? There are many possible causes and triggers. One common cause is having too many responsibilities or tasks to juggle. We live in a fast-paced, demanding world where we're expected to be constantly productive and efficient. This can create a sense of pressure and urgency that can quickly lead to overwhelm. Another cause of overwhelm is feeling like we have to meet certain expectations or standards, whether they come from others or from ourselves. We might feel like we have to be perfect in every aspect of our lives, or that we have to constantly exceed expectations in order to be successful or happy. This can create a cycle of stress and anxiety that can be hard to break. Finally, overwhelm can also be triggered by external factors like lack of support or resources. If we feel like we're facing challenges alone, or that we don't have the tools or resources we need to tackle a problem, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed and helpless. Overall, overwhelm can be a complex and multifaceted issue. But by understanding some of the common causes and triggers, we can start to take steps towards managing it more effectively. While feeling overwhelmed from time to time is normal, chronic overwhelm can have significant negative consequences. It can affect our mental and physical health, our relationships, and our productivity. On a mental and emotional level, chronic overwhelm can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and even depression. It can also interfere with our ability to concentrate and make sound decisions. On a physical level, chronic overwhelm can have negative effects on our health, such as headaches, muscle tension, and even heart disease. In terms of our relationships, chronic overwhelm can cause us to withdraw from social activities, neglect our personal relationships, or become irritable and short-tempered with those around us. Finally, chronic overwhelm can also impact our productivity and effectiveness at work. We might struggle to meet deadlines, make mistakes, or experience burnout. Overall, the cost of chronic overwhelm is high, both in terms of our personal well-being and our ability to perform at our best. That's why it's so important to learn how to manage overwhelm effectively. There are several strategies that can be useful for dealing with overwhelm. One effective approach is to prioritize tasks and break them down into smaller, more manageable chunks. This can help us feel less intimidated by a large to-do list and allow us to focus on one task at a time. By setting realistic goals and boundaries, we can also avoid taking on too much and becoming overwhelmed. For example, I used to be someone who said yes to everything and struggled with overwhelm as a result. But I learned the hard way that saying no is sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself. By setting boundaries around my time and energy, I've been able to prioritize self-care and focus on what truly matters. Another strategy is to learn to say no to tasks or commitments that don't align with our values or priorities. This can be challenging, especially for people pleasers, but it's important to remember that we only have a limited amount of time and energy. By saying no to things that don't serve us, we can free up space for the things that do. For instance, I once had a colleague who was always taking on extra work and never saying no. She eventually became so overwhelmed that her work suffered, and she had to take a leave of absence. Learning to say no can be a powerful way to protect our mental health and prevent burnout. Practicing self-care and relaxation techniques can also be helpful in managing overwhelm. Mindfulness practices like meditation and deep breathing have been incredibly helpful for some people in reducing overwhelm and calming the mind. A friend of mine who struggles with anxiety has found that these techniques are particularly effective for her. Additionally, finding joy in life can be a powerful antidote to feelings of overwhelm. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I try to make time for things that bring me joy, like spending time with loved ones or going for a hike. Cultivating joy and gratitude helps me stay grounded and reduce feelings of overwhelm. In conclusion, feeling overwhelmed is a common experience, but there are practical strategies we can use to manage it. By prioritizing tasks, setting boundaries, learning to say no, practicing self-care, and finding joy in life, we can reduce feelings of overwhelm and improve our mental and physical health. These strategies have worked for me and for others, and I encourage you to try them out for yourself. Remember, overwhelm doesn't have to control your life. With the right tools and mindset, you can take back control and live a more fulfilling, balanced life. In conclusion, feeling overwhelmed is a common experience, but it doesn't have to be a permanent one. By understanding the causes and consequences of overwhelm, and by implementing some practical strategies for managing it, we can regain a sense of control and balance in our lives. Remember to prioritize self-care, set boundaries, and focus on what truly matters to you. Start small, break tasks down into manageable chunks, and be kind to yourself throughout the process. You don't have to do it all alone. Seek support from loved ones, colleagues, or professionals if needed. As the saying goes, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. So, my challenge to you is to take that first step today and commit to managing overwhelm in a more intentional and sustainable way. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best on your journey towards a more balanced and fulfilling life. Please like and subscribe today,